Cyberpunk 2077. It was so hyped. It was so hyped, but it didn't work out in the end. Okay, look, I'm not. This is gonna be one of those videos completely trashing the game. Sure, it has its flaws, and like people will say, "Oh, it's because the hype was too much," and like most games, like I agree, most games never live up to the hype. But I'm gonna do like a kind of a review, not really a review because I don't do reviews, but more of like a yeah, I guess you call it a review, whatever. But yeah, so I'm gonna be playing footage that I've gotten while playing the game in the background, so you can see for yourself how it is. No story stuff though. No story. I'm gonna talk about the story a little bit. There's not gonna be many spoilers, if any. But yeah. So, the game's pretty okay. We're gonna go over the things I don't like about the game first. So, the graphics definitely one of the things. It's like not anywhere near what it was promised, nor was it anything near what we have on like current consoles or PCs or anything like that. The graphics are just bad. Like they're not like horrible, but they're like decent from like years past. Like let's say like 2012, decent. And like you might see at some point, there's like it's horrible loading, horrible. I run into multiple glitches where like people will like load in and just be like blobs of color, or I'll be driving a car too fast around a city and I'll start to phase through the ground and through objects, and then once it finally loads, those objects suddenly become solid and people start popping in around me. Like it's just horrible in general. The pop in and everything, it's bad. And like if you move, I found out if you move too fast in this game, it makes it like freezes up and like it'll kick you out of the game. Well, at least for me, that was my experience. And since the city is so big and so like long to travel between like mission objectives, it made it nearly impossible to play this game. Like okay, anything within like the walking vicinity was okay, but if I even try to get into a car, that's another thing that I gotta address, but we'll get there. Driving anywhere in a car like above a certain speed will just end up with like low polygon buildings and like people walking around that are just blobs and really messed up, not loading in at all.
I have no reason to live.
Thing too. The driving, oh my god, the driving is horrible. There's like next to no controls, none. Like the driving feels horrible.
Do it.
The driving's horrible. The hacking, it's not bad. But the system isn't what it was hyped up to be either. Like it was super hyped, but it's really not. The combat's okay. It feels like at times like it feels weighty, and like you can like slide around, and like the difference in the weapons are really like better. Like you can tell like the difference in the weapons are nice, and like different effects and everything. And like the combat feels nice, but the issue is with most enemies, you can just cheese them, like completely cream all of them with just a shotgun. Like you just shotgun them to the ground and put like an assault rifle or something and shoot them in the face 1,000 times and then rinse and repeat. And that's basically how you beat them. And then there's, oh god, then there's the wanted system. So naturally, like you do, like in GTA or Red Dead Redemption or any other game, you just want to see what happens if you start executing civilians. So like, that's one thing too. So there's some civilians, like you'll shoot them in the face and they'll die instantly because, you know, they have no armor or anything. Like they'll take like a reasonable like 1 or 2 shots, right? And then there'll be some that you can full auto them into the face, like unload like 3 clips, and they won't die. And you can like shoot them with a shotgun like 10 times and they won't even flinch. Or like some of them don't even recognize that they're being shot. And then that's when the wanted system comes in. There'll be no cops in sight, not a one, and you can turn around after shooting somebody and turn back and there'll be a cop there, or like several cops. Like once again, the pop-in is horrible. Like the cops don't chase you, they don't follow you anywhere. You just run out of their range and then the new ones will pop up. And there's like no escaping them really. Like once you get like a certain distance away from all of them, if you drive fast enough to where they don't pop in, you can escape them. But once again, that's nearly impossible because of how fast everything loads in. You'll start falling through the world and everything like that. But now that I got all the bad things out of the way, we can get into the good things. So what I did the story. It's nice. It is nice. It's a good story, from what I played of it. And like you can really like it's not like as good as like Red Dead Redemption where it makes you feel for the characters as much or anything. But you know, it's a decent story. It's a good enough story. And then the levels are pretty alright too. You have like options and variety, but there's not. That brings up another one of my gripes. Like, okay, the biggest issue with this game is the illusion of choice. Like, you'll have different dialogue options, but it affects nothing. There's like a highlighted dialogue option that is like the one that you just continue the story with, and nothing else matters. Like, you don't get anything with any other dialogue option. And like using like the backstory really doesn't change anything either. Like when you get to pick like Nomad, Street Kid, or Corpo and stuff like that. Like nothing changes. Not a single thing changes between this. Like it's just the illusion of choice where really you're set on a path and nothing changes aside from there might be like branching storylines later, but I haven't encountered any. Like, you're definitely given options on how to like go about a mission, but it's only like very seldom. Like with the when you get at the start when you're playing for the heist and you use the robot, I chose to execute the people and kill them all, but you can also pay for the chip and you can do all stuff like that. And that's another thing too, like they set up all these bosses or like what you think would be boss characters, and then they're just like the easiest thing to kill. I have by no means finished the game, but like the enemies aren't as tough. Unless they're in number, they're really not tough. I'm confident they can maybe update the game and fix the loading issues, and the combat needs a little bit of work with like the with the exploit that you can use with the shotgun. And yeah, it just needs work, honestly. Like it's definitely like all the hype. Like I get like there's gonna be a certain amount of like it's not gonna live up to the hype. Like I understand that, but this is beyond the hype. Like the characters like that you find walking around, they're nice and all, but eventually like they'll just disappear. Like they'll like phase into a wall. Like they'll just disappear from existence. I've even seen some characters just walk into a wall, like just walk away. So yeah, this game just needs a lot of work in general. But one thing for sure is the environment too. The environment is great. Like how the city's set up, it makes you really feel like you're in a city. Like I'll wander the streets and get lost, and then I'll be wandering around and I'll just find myself in a market or some like back alley like drug deal or like something like that. It's like you definitely have room to explore here on foot. On foot, it's amazing. Like you'll turn down side streets and find different people, and you'll find weird things going on. And the whole environment and theme and aesthetic is nice. But just again, the loading problems, all these problems with like the loading and the police and everything else, it just kills the game. Like I tried, but I got to a certain point where I've done all the missions in a certain area, and I just can't go any further because if I drive too fast, I get kicked out the game and it like lags me out. And if I try to walk there, it's so excruciatingly slow because you have to weave your way through the city. Which once again, like I wouldn't mind because the city's nice, but at one point, I want to get to another objective. But it's just like painful in general. So once again, not a bad game, but that's just how I feel about it. Maybe I'll come back to it after it gets updated and things like that, but I really just can't play it right now. I think the only thing good that came out of this game, honestly, I mean, it's not bad, but once again, like one of the only things that I actually got out of this game that I like is the postcards that came with the game. If you guys got the game, like, well, not early, I just bought it normally. I don't know if everybody got that, but I got like some postcards, and they're sitting on my wall, and they're really cool and they're nice, but the game in general would just make it bad. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed me going on a little rant about Cyberpunk. I know a bunch of people have done it. I felt like the good things also need to be said along with the bad, because people normally just trashing it, which is deserved, but it also has upsides. Also, I do plan to do stuff with Watch Dogs Legion, which is a whole nother can of worms. It's not as bad as Cyberpunk. I hope so far what I've played it's not as bad as Cyberpunk, but we're gonna find out.
I have
don't
a wife,
expect a series
please!
on Cyberpunk anytime soon, because I can't I don't think I can make myself do it. Legion, maybe. I could maybe do Legion. We'll see. But yeah, there should be a lot of more videos coming out sooner rather than later if I have the motivation. And anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll just leave you with the rest of the B-roll footage that I have left, because I am done talking. Alright, see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Welcome, welcome. What's that for? I don't want to fucking die here.